Good morning, Oklahoma. I'm Curtis here, and welcome to SUNUP. Well, we're starting the show off a little bit different today. We have Dr. Amy Hagerman, our ag policy specialist. And Amy, as you know, and as a lot of Oklahomans know, there was a lot of wildfires, and we're just still kind of in the thick of it. The wind's whipping outside right now, and there's just a lot going on.
Yeah, this is really an unprecedented series of circumstances that led to the fire outbreak that we have had since Friday. And a lot of counties affected. We have 12 disaster declarations across the state right now. A lot of the fires that have occurred in the last 24 hours have actually hit those counties again that were already under disaster declarations from Friday or Saturday or Monday. And so we just have a lot of counties out in the state that have damage, huge variety in that damage too. Some counties have had major fires coming into urban areas. Stillwater is a great example of that. Other counties like out in Roger Mills, it's primarily been in pasture areas where they were able to move livestock out from in front of those fires and where homes were not as affected. But you know, across the state, you've got a huge variety of responses happening right now to these wildfire events.
You know, when these wildfire events come through and the fire departments are allowing, you know, those affected to re-enter their neighborhoods or getting back onto their property, you know, what's one of the main things that people can do or need to think about? Is it safety? Is that the thing that people need to think about?
Absolutely. That's the first thing. And what you said first, that's the most critical bit of safety, right? Obey the limitations on when you get back into a neighborhood. It's my house, I was evacuated. Of course, I wanted to get back in right away and see if everything was okay. But because of the conditions we have right now, because of the risk that fires could flare back up from embers, it's really critical to put the safety first and wait to get back onto your property until you get the all clear from emergency services. Then once you're back on your property, again, safety gear, right? Very important. Full pants, closed-toed shoes, leather gloves, long sleeves, cotton. Think about like what you would wear if you were welding, right? Because if you do happen to stir up something with some embers, you want to make sure that you're protected as you're moving things around your property, trying to see what has been affected and what hasn't. Wear a mask, wear, you know, a nice respirator to keep that smoke from getting in your lungs as much as you can while you're out checking things out. You know, take people with you. Like you need a support network. So mental safety is very important in these situations as well. Take your support network with you. Have somebody who can be there with you and let you talk and help you process what kind of damage has been done on the property.
So when it comes to documentation, you know, looking and assessing the damage when that time comes, what are some things that people can do to really, you know, make sure that they're documenting properly?
Right. So talk to your insurance agent right up front. They're going to have hotlines. They're going to be ready to answer your questions. They're going to help you know what you need to document. The other thing is to really know what your coverage is going in. Know what's covered and what's not. So as you're documenting damage, you're thinking in your head about what could be covered by insurance and what you may have to cover out of pocket as well. So thinking about that, having those conversations early. I think, I hope all of your records are digitized, right, in any of these kinds of events. And that's important for fire, tornado, anything that we flood, anything we experience in Oklahoma.
This is a good reminder about that. Yeah,
absolutely. So have your records digitized, especially like your insurance, your mortgage, any of your critical documentation like beneficiaries for your property. All of those things need to be digitized as well. So as you're going in, video, photos are really important. Whether you're going to talk to a contractor about coming in and looking at the damages, it's helpful for them to have an understanding of, are we talking about roof damage? Are we talking about siding? Are we talking about internal damage or smoke damage inside of a house? Because those are things that maybe it wouldn't be an insurance claim, but you would want pictures to help your contractor. And then of course, having your insurance adjuster come out, look at the property and helping to guide them through the main damage that you see.
We're just kind of in the middle part of March. There's still a lot of wildfire season left. And I think that's also a good reminder of things that people can do now, especially when it comes to that documentation, like maybe like heat requirements for their safes that they have in their homes.
Yeah, that's a really important thing to know. What kind of safe do you have, and what are the heat limits for that safe in which the things inside it are still protected? Because there's a difference between, say, your gun safe and a firebox or any other kind of safe. So know what those heat requirements are. Know if it's waterproof as well. You know, we're coming into a whole different season of spring storms as well. So know what those limits are for your safe.
And Extension has a lot of resources to assist folks through this, right?
Yeah, we have resources on our emergency and disaster webpage for recovery. And so that's safely getting back into your property. Some of those key tips we just talked about how to safely get back in and assess your property. Also recovery. So we haven't really talked about our agricultural producers yet, but thinking about our grasses. And you know, this is actually, if we have to have a fire in a pasture right before it's greening up, this isn't a bad time, timing-wise, to have something like that happen. So knowing how long do you need to wait and let that grass grow in and establish. Hopefully we get some warm weather and some rain. I'm hoping those gray clouds outside give us a little bit of rain across the state that can help those grasses green up after the fire.
And there is a lot of mental health support as well.
Yeah, we do have mental health resources through our extension materials. Again, reaching out to the people in your network, reaching out to your faith network, reaching out to your local mental health resources, reaching out to local counselors. There's going to be a lot of those resources available to people. These are traumatic experiences, even if it's a near miss. Take the time to talk to someone, to process that trauma, and to be able to recover from that as well. That's a really important part of recovery when something like this happens.
All right, thanks, Amy. And if you'd like a link to those resources that Dr. Hagerman mentioned, just go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.